Hey everybody, I hope you guys had a good holiday, had a good Christmas, or having a good holiday right now. Actually, we're still on a break, but I have one more unboxing before the year ends. I actually have two. I have the Liego T5C2, but I'm gonna do this first. So this is the UmiDigi S2 Pro. So you might remember that back in July, so that's quite a long time ago. I actually already tested the S2 Pro on my YouTube channel, but that was a pre-production unit, so that was why I didn't get to do an unboxing. I merely UmiDigi just gave me the phone to test basically. So this is an actual unboxing with the final retail unit, and also this is the Pro. The unit I tested last time was the UmiDigi S2. So you remember that video? What I liked about it was the metal back felt really nice, and the phone actually looked quite like the Samsung Galaxy S8. So this is the Pro version. The difference is it has a P25 Helio P25 processor with 6 gigs of RAM, and the screen resolution is higher too, to 1080p now. So this is linked to the world here. But the most impressive, oh, this is a nice box. But the most impressive thing about this phone, I think for a lot of people, would be the battery size. It's 5,100 milliamp. That's ridiculous for a phone this slim. So anyway, this is a nice packaging. So again, this is, usually Chinese phones come, the budget Chinese phones anyway, come in really generic packaging. It's just a typical white box. So I'm impressed so far with this presentation. So you have a charger right here. Okay, once again is the European China plug. USB cable, I'm pretty sure this uses USB-C. Yep, it is a USB-C, very nicely wrapped. Like this looks like the OnePlus 5 cable with a USB-C to 3.5 headphone jack dongle. So that means this phone doesn't have a headphone jack. So now let's get to the phone. Oh, okay. I'm gonna put this to the side first. Okay, instructions. SIM ejector tool. So there's a phone, it comes with a case already, and this case is very nice. I like that it's a little bit, I like that UmiDigi does things a little bit differently than these other Chinese companies, because they usually all have the same white box and then the case is always like a plastic clear case. So UmiDigi stands out a little bit. So this is okay, still a soft case, but I like this matte feeling. Oh, I like this case a lot. So anyway, let's peel off the back. So this is the black color. The previous version I tested was red. I thought the red looked pretty cool, but I think I like the black even more. So again, it's this premium metal built. Now let's peel off the front. Wait, this is already a screen protector. Peels. Yeah, this is already a screen protector. This is not that usual film. So the phone comes with a screen protector in case. There's a little bit of bubble right here I'm trying to fix. Anyway, I'm not sure if this is just my unit, but the screen protector is not on perfectly. There's a little bit of bubble. So that'll probably annoy me. I'll probably just rip this off. Okay, some power on the device. I'm going to play with the phone for a bit. I will be back. Hey everybody, I'm back. So I played with the UmiDigi S2 Pro that's on the left for about 4.5 hours, and these are my thoughts. So as you can see right off the bat, it looks very similar to the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. The two phones are very, very similar in size. They're almost the exact same height and thickness. That's a win for UmiDigi considering it has a 5100 milliamp battery inside, yet the phone is not that thick. And they're about the same rift too. But when you bring the phone closer, you see that Samsung's bezels are actually a little bit slimmer up top and at the bottom. So that lets Samsung put a bigger screen into a phone that's the same size. But the Samsung Galaxy S2 Plus has a bigger display, a 6.2 inch, whereas on the UmiDigi is just a 6-inch display. So now let's just talk about the UmiDigi phone now. So I've used this phone for a little bit today, and I also previously I tested the other version back in July, and I think this phone, it's very impressive if you want strong battery life and a really good build quality. So these are the two biggest selling points to me. 5100 milliamp battery, it's definitely enough to last you all day, like definitely more than one day, like 2 days even. So you see right here, when I unboxed the phone, it had about like 72% battery life, and I used the phone for 4 hours, 4.5 hours, and right now it's only at 62%. So it dropped only about 10% battery life in like little over 4 hours of heavy use. So that's very impressive. And the build quality, as mentioned during my unboxing, it's very premium feeling. This is a metal phone, fingerprint reader. It's not the fastest, but it works almost all the time. This LCD panel, it's quite decent for this price range and for an LCD panel. Obviously, you can't put it next to a Samsung OLED display, but viewing angles are really good. I used this outdoors earlier, and it gets very bright too. So right now, you look at how low the brightness is. Let's go pump it up to max brightness. It gets very bright. But the problem is it actually doesn't get that dim. So even when you go to almost zero brightness, it's still kind of bright. So that's gonna be a problem when I'm using this phone at night in a dark bedroom, and I don't want to like wake up my girlfriend who's like next to me, but then the screen is too bright. So these are all the good parts about the phone. Build quality, display. You do get this slim bezel look. I wouldn't say it's bezel-less, but a slim bezel look in the phone that feels really good in the hand, and there's a nice premium heft to it. For $300, I'm impressed. But now let's talk a little bit about the bad stuff. So this phone has a Helio P25 chipset, which is a MediaTek mid-tier processor. That's a little bit better than the MT6757 that we've seen in other budget Chinese phones. And there's 6 gigs of RAM in here, which means it should be pretty fast, right? But I find that hasn't been the case. So look, watch, I'm trying to jump between apps now, which is, I do this a lot on Android. And look at that, there's a pause every time I try to switch between apps. If I switch between the camera and Instagram, you see it takes the camera like 1 full second, a second and a half before it can get to the viewfinder and it's able to shoot again. That's really slow, even for a budget phone. Considering that this has 6 gigs of RAM, I'm really surprised at how slow the phone is. But benchmarks, the score is actually not bad. So scored a benchmark on Geekbench 4, 765 single core, 3804 multi-core. That's quite decent, 3800 multi-core. And then on PC benchmark, it scored a 4609. That's respectable. On my Huawei Mate 10 Pro, it scored a 7000. Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, it scored a 7000, but those are flagship phones. I think anything above 4000 means it's good enough for you to do basic work such as photo editing or even video processing. So another bad thing about the phone is you cannot put a custom launcher on this. So I downloaded a Nova launcher, which I try to use in every phone, but there's no way to make it as default. I've searched through settings. You cannot use the custom launcher. You have to use UmiDigi software, which means you don't get an app drawer. Everything has to sit on the home screen. But the good news is you're able to bring down notification shade by swiping anywhere on the screen. This, to me, is crucial. So the phone also has a little bit of bloatware. Out of the box, it has its own default UmiDigi web browser, which is, stupid. No one's ever going to use a stupid browser. Everyone would just switch to Chrome. And then there are like these system apps. So a lot of them, like 360 security, I don't want that. 9 apps, I don't want that. And then there's a wallpaper app, and then also a theme app. So isn't that a little bit redundant? And then right here it says black tech. I don't know what black tech means. You have quick touch, which is that little button right here. Avatar Master, which lets you clone an app so you can run 2 Facebook accounts. So that's pretty useful. But why couldn't this have been in setup, in the settings, like just a feature in settings instead of needing like a specific app for it? And then you have app cleanup. Again, these could all just be in settings. So there's a little bit of bloatware on this app that you can't uninstall, I don't think. So now moving to the camera. I find that recording video is actually okay, but photos it's decent. And then again, there's 2 cameras on the back, but that's bullshit. One of the cameras is fake. I really, Chinese companies, you really have to stop with this bullshit, like this false advertising, misleading bullshit. Like this second camera is fake, so just stop putting a second camera on there. You know, just we don't care. Just sell us 1 camera and make it decent. So they say there's bokeh mode, but then obviously when you shoot a bokeh, it's fake as hell because, you know, this phone only has 1 camera and all it has is a little blur around the background. So see, this is a terrible bokeh effect. But you know, if you ignore the stupid fake bokeh, the camera sometimes can take pretty decent photos. I wouldn't say it's great. It's solid though. So colors a little bit overly saturated for my taste, but details is good. Look at this hot dog right here. Let's go closer. So colors are quite punchy, details are good. A little bit on the warm side. So this is another bokeh shot. You notice that all it did was blur around the corner. This does not take 2 cameras, so that second camera is completely fake. So there's pretty good details right here on the street sign. Choi Hua, it's a famous restaurant in Hong Kong. So overall, the camera is pretty capable to produce decent shots. Now let's check out video. I think I'm actually quite impressed by the video recording, if anything. So I like that you're able to hide the navigation button too. So video is a little bit jerky, but I'm walking really fast right now. Right now I'm zooming in. So it gets a little bit pixelated when you zoom in, but when you're at 1 time, video is good. There is basically, obviously, no OIS, no EIS of any sort. So the camera also focuses pretty fast in video recording too. So as for the camera mode, you do get stuff like these filters right here, which it's like the Samsung Galaxy S8 came with. So these filters here are inspired by the Samsung Galaxy S8 or Snapchat, whatever it is you use. So a little bit slow. You notice that the mask doesn't quite keep up with my face. But at least it's there, right? It's pretty fun. So I like that you are able to hide the navigation buttons, so which makes Instagram stories more impressive because you get to watch the full in full screen, especially with the slimmer bezels too. So colors are a little bit washed out sometimes. Definitely not as punchy and crisp as the Samsung Galaxy display. Okay, so now let's do video testing, and you know where I'm gonna go. So now we're at 50% volume. Let's go to 100%. Okay, so there's a little bit of distortion at 100%. Gaming performance, it's solid. I think the graphic looks pretty good. I haven't encountered any lags or anything. I played Shadow Fight and Mortal Kombat X and also a couple of other short, easier games. So there are some specific software touches that UmiDigi put into this phone too, such as, for example, when you move apps, you can just throw the app like this, which I like because I get really annoyed when I'm trying to move apps on the iPhone and it's so slow. So I like that right here. I can just throw the app, and also you can swipe between folders. So you notice that I have several folders on my desktop. You have Google, Black Tech, and I have another folder on the back systems app. You can actually swipe through the folders like this. So that's pretty cool. So if I'm into this folder, I need to find some links for it, I just have to swipe over. And then I'm able to also bring the apps lower to reach easier by just swiping down. So couple of software touches that's cool. Otherwise there's nothing else. There's no gestures, shortcuts, there's no double tap or anything like that. So this is it. This is a UmiDigi S2 Pro. This phone sells for $300 on GearBest. To be honest, I think at $300, I'd rather get something else. I would rather either just spend a little more and get a OnePlus 5T, and you get a much better camera and a much more faster software experience, or I would just spend a little less, spend like $200, like $190, and get something like a Elephone, like an Elephone S8 or a Maze Alpha X. Those phones are probably, similar software experience, might be a little bit inferior to this, but you save $100. Like this phone at $300 is just caught in that no man's land. It's a little bit expensive, like it's not cheap, $300, but then the phone's not as powerful as any flagship out there. Like a OnePlus 5T, it's much better than this, and it's only like another $150 more. Or not even a OnePlus 5T, you can get like a Xiaomi Mi Note 2, which isn't that expensive right now. Okay, but if you specifically want the Samsung Galaxy S8 design and a decent screen, I think the UmiDigi S2 Pro or even the cheaper S2 might be worth looking into. Thanks for watching. Happy New Year.